Today we're talking about how to manage your money as a flat rate technician. Now, we need to do a couple of things before we get down and dirty in this conversation. First of all, we need to put whatever opinions we have about flat rate up on the shelf. If you hate flat rate, I get it. It is a problematic system at best and can be devastating in the worst possible scenarios. However, ultimately, a lot of that doesn't matter because that is the system in place, how most technicians get paid. The other thing is, this is geared towards newer technicians. However, like what we're going to talk about today works for all technicians. These videos in this entire series are geared towards new technicians. That said, if you are a new technician, you're just starting out, you should absolutely 100% not be on flat rate. As a new technician, your job is to learn how to fix cars, not worry necessarily about how many hours you're producing and how those hours you're producing, or really, let's be honest, not producing, impacts your paycheck. So, hate flat rate, cool, I get it. Put that on the shelf. If you're a new technician, you need to watch this anyway because you're still going to have to manage that money when you make that leap to flat rate. And if you don't, well, it all applies no matter what. Now, even though I said you got to put your thoughts about flat rate on the shelf, we can't forget about it altogether because we need to understand it. We need to know how we're getting paid in order to properly manage our money. Also, you may find that I'm a little bit harsher in this video than probably some of the other ones because this stuff is that serious. I have seen a lot of technicians get themselves in a very bad way, do things that they wouldn't normally otherwise do, not because of flat rate, completely anyway. It's because they did a bad job budgeting around the system that is not a guaranteed amount of dollars on your paycheck every month. So the way flat rate works is very simple. You get paid per job. If a brake job pays 3 hours, you get paid 3 hours. If you make $15 an hour, you get paid $45 to do that brake job. If it takes you 2 hours, awesome, you win. If it takes you 5 hours, awesome. Not awesome, you lose, and that sucks, and that one hurts really, really bad. So how do we manage our money? How do we deal with this system of ups and downs, not to mention the fact that there are times throughout the year that are busier and times that are slower? Well, it's actually pretty easy and kind of hard all in the same time. So I'm going to take you back to circa 2004 when I first started at the dealership. I made 15 bucks an hour and we had a guarantee of 40 hours per week. We were just paid hourly. My shop was pretty cool, so if you turned more than 40 hours, you got paid for that, but that didn't happen for quite some time. So 40 hours a week, $15 an hour. That's roughly $600 a week. Now, $15 an hour back then is equivalent to about $20.50 or so per hour. So you may have to adjust your numbers here, but again, the number does not matter. So what I did when I first started at the dealership, keeping in mind that I didn't have a toolbox, a big boy toolbox, I had some tools, but nowhere near all the stuff that I needed. And I think that's really common for brand new technicians starting out. I set my budget for making $15 an hour at 40 hours a week going forward, right? So anything I did, if I couldn't afford it at that, I didn't do it. Did that mean I didn't have a new car? Did that mean I didn't have an awesome, nice house or a nice apartment? Yep, that's what that meant. But I was new in my career and budgeting that money was so much more important than having a flashy new car. I carried that mindset for many, many years, even when I was making quite a bit more money, and that allowed me to ride the highs and put extra money in the bank and overcome the dips and the slow times and not have to really suffer or worry or stress because I wasn't making so many hours. The problem I've seen technicians get into is they go for that 40 hours and then they start hitting like 50 hours somewhat consistently and then 60 hours and then 70 hours and they start living a lifestyle of 70 hours per week, okay? And that's great. If you can do that and it's consistent, awesome. And then they get 60 hours a week and then 50 hours a week. And then something stupid that they had no control over, like a recession hits. And now they're back at 40 hours a week, living a 70-hour-a-week lifestyle with car payment, house payment, and all the other cool stuff, tool truck payment, we'll talk about that in a minute. All the other cool stuff that you do when you have 70-hour-a-week average on your paycheck, and now you're only making 40 hours a week. This leads to technicians making very, very bad choices in overselling repairs, overselling labor times, not doing repairs. So regardless of how much money you're making, you want to live at a lower hour per week average lifestyle. If you're making 70 hours a week, maybe we're living at a 50-hour-a-week lifestyle because we don't know when that next slow time is going to hit. Once I got off that guarantee and started on flat rate, the way I worked was very similar still. I budgeted for a lot lower hours than I was making, but I budgeted still at 40 hours a week. Even though I was making more per hour, budgeted at 40 hours a week. Those weeks that I made 50 hours a week, I took all that extra money and it went into the savings account. That way, those weeks where I was making 35 hours a week, I didn't have to starve or not eat or not pay my rent because I had that little bit extra. So think about it as a wave. You have good weeks and down weeks, up weeks and down weeks. We want to average that out and ride the middle. That way we have extra income coming in on the good months, the good weeks. We put that aside to overcome the low points. It really, it's that simple. That's what you have to do. One of the unfortunate things about being a new technician is this is probably in your career the time you're gonna make the least amount of money. And up until a certain point, this is the time in your career where it's gonna cost you the most. You're gonna have to buy the most tools, right? We get to kind of that upper tier technician where we're buying like expensive diagnostic equipment and stuff like that. But for now, that first 2 years is gonna be really, really expensive. So we have to be smart with that money that we're making, which again is gonna be less than we're probably gonna make at any other time in our careers, right? The first year I was a technician, I made less money than I did any other year as a technician, and thankfully, any other year since, because I didn't make a whole heck of a lot of money that first year as a technician. We wanna make sure that we're in that middle space, right? Living below our means, even if we can afford that car, that $600 a month car payment, even if we can afford it today and next month and for the last 4 months, you just signed a 5-year car note for $600 a month. What's 3 years look like from now? We don't know. We have to be very, 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 very smart about this. This also comes into play when we're budgeting for tools. I actually really like the idea of setting a weekly or a monthly budget for tools. $25 a week, $50 a week. Remember, that stuff adds up really fast, right? $50 a week is over $200 a month that you're committing to something, car payment, tools, whatever. In the beginning, you need those tools, so I'm cool with committing it. But don't let that be an open invitation to just racking up thousands and thousands of dollars on the tool truck, right? If your tool truck account is paid off, which if you can avoid the tool truck account altogether, I highly recommend it. If that account is paid off, get another savings account. You can do that crap online in like 4 seconds. Open up that other savings account and put that tool money right into that savings account. Set it up as an auto draft. You guys, we've never had banking easier to do all these things. Set it up to auto draft every week, every 2 weeks, whenever you get paid, right into that savings account. Then when you need that $600 torque wrench, you don't have to worry about getting a tool truck account. You got the money ready to go. I really think this skill of managing money is just completely lost. It's not taught in school. Most adults don't know how to do it. Therefore, the adults don't teach their children how to do it. So we, growing up as new technicians, whatever, we don't know what the hell we're doing, and we have no idea how to manage this new lifestyle, right? Because ideally, you're making more money as a technician, even in your early years, at least this is how it was for me, than you were at going to school or going to college or whatever job you had before that. You're making more money. So a lot of times we struggle with this new level of budgeting that we have to do. Also, you may have been used to getting paid $600 a week, every week, no matter what, just for showing up. And now, if you are just showing up and you're on flat rate, that doesn't pay the bills. That doesn't pay the bills. You actually got to do the work and get paid for it in order to get those bills paid. In fact, I'm thinking like as you're interviewing for a job, right? And this is going to be a separate thing that we're going to talk about another time. As you're interviewing for this job, a really good question to ask is, hey, what's the slow time of year? What's the busy time of year? Are there any other things that play into a time that's busy or a time that's slow, right? Perhaps you live in a town where the tourist season is real big. So early summer, crazy busy, or a lot of people have a vacation home there. Hey, going into spring or winter, super busy. Everybody gets their car service that's been sitting here all summer or all winter. Or you live in a college town and that influx of new students in the fall makes for a really busy time. Or they go away, so late summer, really busy time. Here where I live, the state fair is very close to where my dealership was, and for those 2 weeks, a lot of times it was pretty dang slow. And that was a huge, huge thing in like early October, whenever it is. That was a big time slowdown. In fact, that was a perfect time to take a vacation because then you didn't have to deal with the slow time and you got your vacation pay. So super win on that one. But listen, guys, this is very, very serious. This is so important to ask this question. Hey, when is it busy? When is it slow? But you can't always guarantee, you can't rely on that to be factual year to year. You know, election years are a great example. Shops right now today, every shop that I've talked to, and it's, I don't know, early September, every shop that I've talked to, slam busy, can't keep up. The busiest they've been in years, right? However, my gut says that there are, in fact, probably some pretty slow, dark times coming for these shops and businesses and economy altogether, but that's a whole nother topic. There can be dark times coming. This is the time while we're making good money, we squirrel that away, we put it to the side, we pretend like we're not making all that really good money, right? And I'm not saying you can't go buy yourself something nice, right? I don't know, a new hat or a new pair of shoes or whatever the heck people are into buying these days, right? A new cell phone, I don't know. Like, you can do all those things, but don't go crazy with it. Don't start living that 70-hour-a-week lifestyle because you've made 70 hours a week for the last month. You still need to be living that 40-hour-a-week lifestyle. I'm telling you, one bad thing can happen and all that can change and you can go back to making 35 hours a week like that. I've seen it happen to technicians and I really, really have seen that lead to bad choices that these technicians make. They get themselves into debt, they get overspent and under-earned, and it can lead to some really bad, dark decisions that they're making that they probably wouldn't have made otherwise, but they get in this place where they feel like that's their only alternative. And I really don't want to see that for you guys, right? This industry is hard enough. Fixing cars is not easy. Fixing modern cars is very challenging. Working at a dealership with all the extra stuff outside of fixing cars is hard enough. The last thing I want you guys to have to be stressed out about is, am I going to be able to pay my rent this month, right? I've been there. I know what that feels like, and it's horrible, right? It sucks. If you've been there, you know what that feeling's like. Don't get yourself caught up in keeping with the Joneses. Don't get yourself caught up in having the best, newest, coolest car, the best, newest, coolest race car, toolbox, or torque wrench, or all that stuff. In your first few years, you are setting the tone for the rest of your career in almost every aspect. Let good budgeting, good spending, good time management, good hour management, and therefore good dollar management, let that be a good habit you build early in your career, that when you've been in it for 5 years and you're used to making 70 hours a week and you have a couple weeks where it's 45 hours a week, you're not happy, right? I always got pissed whenever I wasn't making 65, 70 hours a week or whatever like the average was at the time throughout my career. But you know what? Even though I wasn't happy about it, I wasn't stressed out about, am I going to be able to pay my mortgage this month? Or am I going to be able to make my car payment this month? Maybe I didn't go out to eat for a week, but you know, that's good for you anyway. So guys, please, I beg of you, think smart. Act smart with your hours, act smart with your money. Don't get yourself overcommitted with spending money. Don't take on a $200 a week truck payment for tools. There are other ways to do it. You'll get to the point in your career where you can afford to do these things, and then I fully support your ability to do it. But look, I've felt this way for a long time. Whether I pay cash for something or not doesn't matter quite so much as, can I write the check for it? And if I can't, I might not do it. In fact, I'm probably not doing it. Of course, we need an apartment or a house or in a car, right? We need those things, and you probably can't write a check for that. But outside of those things, please, I'm almost literally begging you, be smart with your money. I don't want to see any of you guys get in a bad way and have to end up pawning tools or selling stuff that you wouldn't otherwise want to sell because you've kind of had a bad couple months or the economy takes a dump or any of that. So be smart. When you're earning a lot, save it. That'll help you overcome the slow times. You won't be as stressed out. You'll be a better technician for that alone, period. I promise you. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up. Don't forget there's a ton of other videos focused towards you new technicians out there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please, out of all the videos I've done, this is the one I really need you to take serious. With that, I'm out. Have an awesome day, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye. I hope that wasn't too somber. Was that somber?